Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Tuesday. Charlotte Deleste is helping out this afternoon. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
How are you doing?
And tomorrow, I'm healthy.
Oh, I know. The whole newsroom is sick.
So far.
You and I.
I know.
Let's
There you go.
stick together. Well, thank you for your help. Later this hour, we're going to be taking your phone calls with Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company, and Angie Horkin from the Wisconsin Beef Council is going to make holiday appetizers.
Oh, can't wait.
That should smell pretty good. Here's what's making news on this Tuesday. A Madison police officer testifies in the sentencing of a man who lured her to a building and then fired shots at her.
The White House says the president might be willing to compromise on building the wall to avoid a government shutdown.
And some sad news today. We look back at the career of actress and director Penny Marshall, who died today at the age of 75. Best known, of course, as Laverne in the Laverne and Shirley show. That was sad news and surprising as well.
Very surprising.
Let's take a look outside today. Another sunny and mild December day. This is Elver Park, actually, where they've had a lot of success making snow.
Yeah, I watched that for a few days. I think it was last week, and it's just amazing to see them do that.
She has the trails all to herself with a little one behind her. The weather words for today: doesn't feel like the season. Boy, that's for sure. Chris Reese is out on the patio. Hi, Chris.
Hello. I got to tell you what, driving past Elver Park is where I get my snow fix nowadays. You just got to go there. But we have had plenty of sunshine today. Any snow, real snow that is on the ground, certainly melting away with temperatures that have been far above where they were just 24 hours ago. Right now, we're 7 degrees warmer than this time. Yesterday, 11 degrees warmer as you work your way north towards Black River Falls. We've also seen plenty of sunshine. There was one little streak of cloud cover that came through right around lunchtime, but even that fizzled out just because the air is drier. So look outside. That is certainly what you're going to see through the rest of the daylight hours today as the sun continues to set. Our high temperature was 44 degrees. Typically, we're at 29. So take it or leave it. It certainly feels much warmer than it should for this time of the year. Even the normal morning low is around 15 degrees. 43 is our temperature right now. We still have those winds out of the south and southwest at 10 miles per hour. And as long as we have that southerly wind, it's certainly going to continue to be on the warmer side this evening. 46 degrees in Black River Falls right now. You work your way over towards the Dells. It is 42, and then 40 back down in Watertown as well. So all of us are seeing those temperatures mainly in the 40s, other than Fond du Lac, which is at 39 right now. But in your forecast first, expect those temperatures to stay in the 40s through the evening before dropping into the upper 30s and mid 30s tonight. In fact, overnight tonight, we'll see that low right around 32 degrees. And of course, it'll be breezy as well, but still not as cold as we've been the past couple of mornings. In terms of traffic, we are starting to see your Tuesday afternoon backups beginning on the Beltline, mainly between John Nolan and Park Street. As of now, still heavy backups between Olin and John Nolan Avenue right along Make Mendota. Some other backups on Fish Hatchery on Park Street headed over towards Fish Hatchery, and then Regent and Monroe Street also starting to see more brake lights. So do be prepared for that as you head home. Of course, we'll keep you guys up to date on weather and traffic as we go through the show.
All right, Chris, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Chris. First at 4, a man accused of firing on a Madison police officer is sentenced in Dane County Court.
The incident happened in 2016 on Madison's west side. Eric Franke joins us in the news center with the sentence handed out to Cornelius Britton.
Yeah, Charlotte and Susan, pretty compelling day in court today. Britton was initially charged with attempted homicide, but pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of first-degree recklessly endangering safety in May, and he will now serve 22 years in prison. Authorities said Britton lured police to an apartment building in the 5800 block of Russet Road, just off Raymond Road. This was October of 2016. He fired on Officer Krista Lutke multiple times while hiding behind the corner of the building there. Judge William Hanrahan, known for sharing his passionate thoughts at sentencing, reminded Britton of a time when Madison was much safer without people like him on the streets.
But that just doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Something's changed. What's changed? Well, we have you. We have a guy that does not seem to have a moral compass.
Again, I apologize to the officer. She was never being intentionally targeted. It was something going on in the neighborhood. She was just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
How that day has impacted me is next to impossible. I'm still trying to resolve all the many ways I've been affected. And to be truthful, I'm coming to realize I probably never will.
recidivism. In fact, just the opposite has been shown to be true.
Sentence. Britton was also sentenced to 8 years extended supervision after he serves his 22 years in prison. Chief Mike Koval and several officers were also in court today to support their colleague. The chief says he is pleased with the punishment handed out and also appreciated the comments of Judge Hanrahan, something that he deals with every day, and he's all too aware of the challenges facing the city. Charlotte, Susan?
Eric, thank you.
Chicago police are mourning the deaths of two of their newest police officers who were killed in a tragic accident while chasing a shooting suspect. A sea of blue and red police lights lit up Chicago roadways early this morning, a solemn procession for two of their own killed in the line of duty. Eduardo Marmoleo and Conrad Gary were both newly appointed officers and both fathers with young children. They were chasing a shooting suspect who was headed toward train tracks when they were hit by a commuter train traveling 70 miles per hour.
These brave young men were consumed with identifying a potential threat to their community and put the safety of others above their own.
There are no words that can express the grief, the sense of loss. It just knocks you back on your heels.
Authorities were able to eventually track down the suspect. The two officers were originally after and found a weapon.
Sentencing for President Trump's former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn has been delayed. The retired general had expected to learn his fate today, but at the hearing, the judge lashed out at Flynn, saying, "I can't hide my disgust, my disdain." Flynn pled guilty to lying to the FBI about his contacts with a Russia-U.S. ambassador during the presidential transition in 2016. After being charged, Flynn cooperated with investigators looking into Russia's campaign meddling.
With time running out to avoid a partial government shutdown, the White House now says the president is willing to work with Congress on a compromise. After a week-long stalemate, there may be signs of progress ahead of Friday's deadline. Natalie Brand has more from Capitol Hill.
With just days to strike a deal, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders signaled the president could now compromise to avoid a partial government shutdown.
We've laid out clearly what our parameters are with members of Congress. We want to know what they can pass.
Sanders says the White House has begun exploring other sources to fund the president's border wall as the Friday deadline to avoid a shutdown approaches.
I'm going to shut it down for border
But we
security.
believe you shouldn't shut it down.
Democratic lawmakers have said they are not willing to go above $1.6 billion for increased border security.
Right now, what they offered, we have not accepted. And I don't know what the path might be.
If a deal is not reached, a partial shutdown would begin just days before Christmas and would be the third since President Trump took office. Optics that Republican lawmakers would like to avoid.
I think a government shutdown is not a good option. That's my view. The American people don't like it.
Hanging in the balance, about a quarter of government workers. 420,000 federal employees would have to work through the holidays without pay. Another 380,000 employees would be furloughed. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Lawmakers must still hash out the details and get a funding bill signed into law by Friday at midnight. House members don't return to Washington, D.C. until Wednesday, giving them just 2 days to finalize a deal. Governor Scott Walker is apparently still in the running to head the U.S. Department of Interior.
And our Rose Schmidt has been asking former heads of the state's Department of Natural Resources to weigh in on the governor's qualifications for that cabinet position. Rose?
That's right. Governor Walker will be out of a job on January 7th when Governor-elect Tony Evers is sworn in. Walker has repeatedly said he plans to stay here in Wisconsin and is not interested in going to Washington. But those statements came before President Trump announced Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke would step down. The U.S. Department of Interior is responsible for conserving natural resources and managing federal lands, including national parks and monuments. The position is typically filled by politicians from the western part of the country who have experience with federal land management. Walker tried to cut state money from Wisconsin state parks to make them more self-sustaining, and former DNR Secretary Scott Hassett was appointed by Democratic Governor Jim Doyle in 2003 and says he does not believe Walker has the knowledge base for this position.
I don't think Governor Walker has been good for natural resources in Wisconsin in a number of ways, whether it's funding for parks, which we have a lot of deferred maintenance here, for instance.
Governor Walker is in Washington, D.C. this week for a reception at the White House, but his office would not comment further. Former DNR Secretary George Meyer was twice appointed by Republican Governor Tommy Thompson, and Meyer told me today that he has great concerns about Walker being appointed because he has shown low interest in protecting conservation lands. I also reached out to a number of Republican conservation groups, and all of them declined to comment on Walker's record on this issue.
All right, Rose, thank you.
Veteran actress, producer, and director Penny Marshall has died. The Bronx-born Marshall rose to fame in the 1970s as one half of the duo Laverne and Shirley. Sandra Mitchell reports from Los Angeles.
1, 2, 3, 4. Penny Marshall parlayed her Bronx-accented plain girl image into comedic gold as Laverne DeFazio on the hit comedy Laverne and Shirley. She landed the role as the wisecracking Milwaukee brewery worker after her brother, producer Gary Marshall, first cast her and Cindy Williams as recurring characters on Happy Days.
I think he wants something, Cheryl.
You know, that's what I like about you. You're not only beautiful, you got brains.
They were such a hit that Gary Marshall created the spin-off series Laverne and Shirley, which ran 8 seasons. It ended after Marshall and Williams had a falling out. The two eventually reconciled.
Good morning, Myrna.
Good morning, Mr. Madison.
One of Marshall's first roles was Oscar Madison's secretary, Myrna, in The Odd Couple. She eventually moved behind the camera and into the director's chair. 1988's Big, starring Tom Hanks, was Hollywood's first female-directed film to gross more than $100 million.
There's no crying in baseball!
And she hit another home run with A League of Their Own, starring Hanks, Gina Davis, and Madonna.
From director Penny Marshall.
She also directed Whitney Houston in The Preacher's Wife and Robin Williams in Awakenings. Marshall's publicist says she died from complications of diabetes at her home in California. She was 75. Sandra Mitchell, CBS News.
Penny Marshall leaves behind a daughter and 5 grandchildren. Her brother Gary died in 2016.
I love Laverne and Shirley. Do you ever watch the reruns?
Oh, of course.
I love them.
It's something, it's a staple, we know, growing up.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, she'll live on in those for sure. When we come back, Angie Horkin from the Wisconsin Beef Council is here.
She has easy appetizers to please everyone at your holiday table, and Angie shares those recipes with us when Live at 4 continues.
The government's top doctor issued an advisory this morning to alert parents, doctors, and health professionals about the dangers of e-cigarettes.
Surgeon General Jerome Adams has officially declared them an epidemic in the U.S. E-cigarette use has skyrocketed among America's youth. According to the latest federal data, the percentage of high school age children reporting e-cigarette use in the past 30 days rose 75% from last year. Vaping among middle school age children also increased nearly 50%. Currently, more than 3.6 million U.S. youth use e-cigarettes, including 1 in 5 high school students.
U.S. stocks wavered today as decline in the price of oil dragged energy companies deeper into the red. The Dow rose more than 82 points after being up 334 earlier in the day. The Nasdaq gained 30 and the S&P 500 was up a fraction. Well, 'tis the season for holiday parties.
If you are looking for some hearty appetizer ideas, Angie Horkin from the Wisconsin Beef Council has some.
Hi,
Welcome.
Happy holidays.
Hey, Merry Christmas. What are you making today?
Well, I have some appetizer recipes. So beef technically or usually isn't thought of as an appetizer. We're kind of the main course, so
Right.
rib roast or tenderloin. But if you have a holiday party that's just all appetizers and you want something you can make ahead and then bake at location or right before you go, we've got some ideas for you.
They smell great.
So all of these recipes use ground beef, so they're economical too, and they all make a lot. So a lot of appetizers, like 30 to 40. So
that's
everybody
good.
could get a bite.
That's
Right.
perfect.
So let's start here. So
Okay.
beef and blue cheese stuffed mushrooms. Who doesn't love
Thank
stuffed
you.
mushrooms?
I know, it sounds great.
So I used half a pound of ground beef, and I used actually just ground chuck in all of these. I didn't splurge and get like a lean ground beef because then if you use like a ground round or ground sirloin in these, they might get a little dry because you add breadcrumbs and then you add in the blue cheese. There's not any other moisture in them.
So you use
little-
chuck.
I use chuck.
Okay.
And then you add a little steak seasoning. So I have Montreal at home. And that's about it, and then some fresh chives.
Okay.
And then you can make your beef mixture up ahead because it goes in raw into the mushroom. And then pop it out and put it in your cleaned mushrooms. I just use buttons and creminis, stuff them, and then they bake them 15 minutes.
And that's it.
That is it.
They smell great. You didn't put anything else on the top of them? That's
Nope,
it, they're
that
done.
was
Need
it.
It's enough. Okay.
Yes. Then these are some of the baby bell peppers stuffed with ground beef and couscous and a little spicy V8
Oh,
juice in
yeah,
there.
they
And
look
then some
great.
oregano. You can kind of smell a little
Yes.
oregano. So the spicy V8 and oregano give them a little bit of an Italian flavor. But they're just called our our baby stuffed peppers. And a little spinach in there too.
Okay, that's
So
great.
A little frozen spinach that you can throw in. Okay, and then meatballs, of course.
Who doesn't like meatballs?
Who doesn't like meatballs? A simple homemade meatball recipe using ground beef and then stuffing mix. So like the box stuffing, you use a cup of that in there, and then your bread, your egg, a little salt and pepper, a little thyme, and then a homemade barbecue dipping sauce. And it uses cranberries.
I was going to say it looks cranberry color.
So yeah, you simmer down cranberries till they pop with a little bit of shallots and extra virgin olive oil, and then add in a little balsamic vinegar, a little honey, a little ketchup to give it a little barbecue flavor, and then some molasses.
That's
And
a
then when
great
it's done,
combination.
let it cool a couple minutes, and then put it in the blender or food processor, and then blend it up, and you get this like real nice creamy cranberry barbecue sauce.
This is something you could probably make. You could probably freeze it too.
That would be great.
Definitely.
Yeah, do it ahead of time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
1 pound of ground beef there makes like quite a few meatballs, 20 to 25. Now this, the stuffed peppers calls for a pound, and this is about half of what it made, so it makes a lot.
I love the idea of putting stuffing mix in the ground beef. I mean, I guess you could even make a meatloaf that way, couldn't
I've never
you?
tried that before, but it's really going to adds that flavor too with the stuffing.
That's a neat idea. All right, where are the recipes?
Beeftips.com is our website. Click right on As Seen on TV, and you'll find these recipes, plus a lot of great other holiday recipes this time of the year. Prime rib roast, tenderloin roast, everything's there for you to find easily.
Get you ready for the
Beeftips.com.
holiday.
Yes.
Thank you, Angie. Now, we
Thank
probably
you.
won't see you again before Christmas, will we?
Next year.
No, see you next year.
January.
We're going to start saying that now. Good to see you, hon. Thank you
too.
very much.
Thank you.
Well, chances are the gamer in your life, the one in your basement, my basement, is hoping for a new video game for the holidays.
Find out what the next best game is after the Fortnite frenzy.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, just one of the hot games kids are clamoring for this holiday season. I'm Hillary Lane with a look at the games and consoles on many wish lists this year.
Take a look at this. Brad O'Neill flies through the air, lets go of his motorcycle, and pulls his parachute in a perfectly executed stunt. He is at the pinnacle of athletes when it comes to moto base jumping and has lots of different angles of this incredible leap. In an odd twist, Brad isn't even using his own bike on these sand dunes. He blew up his engine during the practice run, so he had to use a loaner for the actual jump. The bike didn't sustain any damage thanks to the parachute and soft sand landing.
I cannot imagine how they do that, but I bet it makes you feel alive.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
You know, I was thinking to myself, that's got to be expensive on the bike, but I'm glad to know the bike is okay.
Today is December 18th, and normally this is the segment where we note which national days are being celebrated, but we didn't have very many good options today.
No, so answer the telephone like Buddy the Elf Day. So Buddy the Elf was played by Will Ferrell, as we know, in the 2003 movie Elf.
I know, and it's also Roast Suckling Day, and the images might offend some, so today is no national day here on Live at 4. But you know what? It was National Spring Day, if you want to look at it that way. It felt very warm out there. Temperatures making it all the way into the 40s and even middle and upper 40s for a lot of us. You're looking live at Platteville right now as a beautiful sunset is taking shape, but I will have the full First Alert forecast coming up. Another very warm day across south central Wisconsin. Temperatures making it far above where we typically are for this time of the year by 15 degrees. We did see a high of 44. Normally, we don't make it out of the 20s for the 18th of December. Typically, those temperatures start out around 15 degrees as well. We were a couple degrees warmer there this morning at 19 degrees. So we are certainly enjoying the warm temperatures around the area. 46 in Janesville right now, 47 in Lone Rock. Boscobel celebration for you guys. 50 degrees is the actual air temperature right now. on this December 15th. Let's hope we don't get spoiled by these temperatures because winter does start as we go into the week ahead. 43 in Minneapolis right now, 50 in Waterloo, Iowa City also at 51 degrees. And so we are enjoying these mild temperatures that we have had. Those were the highs. Actual air temperatures have come down a little bit. Now at 43, winds are out of the south and southwest at 10 miles per hour. And we do have a beautiful sunset taking shape there with the pink hues on the horizon, but as long as we keep these winds out of the south, things are going to be staying on a milder note. We're going to keep that southerly wind at least going through the evening and parts of tomorrow as well. And that means temperatures will be anywhere from about 5 to 10 degrees warmer than they were 24 hours ago, even potentially into tomorrow morning. But this has just been a stretch of days that have been well above average for December, especially after coming off of a cold November. It's like we have flip-flopped the pattern where November only had about 5 days that were above normal. December so far has only had 5 days below normal. We'll see how the rest of the month shapes up for us, but so far things are trending on a warmer note, and we're staying on a warmer note as we go through the next 12 hours as well. Temperatures will level out right around 34 degrees as we go into the overnight hours. Eventually we'll see those lows right around freezing, especially with the clear skies. We've only had a few high decorator clouds throughout the day. More cloud cover back across the southern plains. The next storm system that impact the eastern half of the country already starting to gather up some steam across the panhandle of Texas. That could throw some cloud cover our way with the cold front that's going to be coming in as well as we head into Wednesday. Let's go ahead and show you that. High pressure moving on to the east. This is the next region of low pressure that's going to be coming into town. A little bit of moisture will stream northward out ahead of that. And so that's why we'll see the cloud cover and along with some chances of light rain as we head into your Wednesday, especially Wednesday night. Then the main batch of moisture moves towards the Ohio Valley while high pressure comes in to bring drier air to Wisconsin. That should allow more sunshine as we go towards the weekend. Let's bring you closer to home. Notice the cloud cover will be on the increase later on tonight. Low temperatures will fall to about 32 degrees here in town. Some of us will be a little bit warmer or just a little bit cooler, but expect those temperatures mainly in the low 30s. I can't rule out a shower chance, mainly north and west of Madison through today and through parts of tomorrow as well. Winds coming out of the south into Thursday morning, but check out just to the west where we see that change in wind direction. That's the next cold front that's going to be working its way on into town. Temperatures will come down just a little bit along with a northwesterly wind as we do head into your Thursday. In fact, through the weekend, it'll be a gradual falling of temperatures. We'll level out with low or high temperatures rather into the low 30s, but even still, that will be above average typically by the time we get you towards this time next week. Your average high temperatures are right around 27 degrees, but we're still watching the upper air pattern in terms of shots of cold coming our way. Here's the one coming for the middle of this week. You'll see another shot of cold that might be a little bit more impactful in the days before Christmas, but immediately following that, we turn milder again. The bigger thing to notice, though, is the pool, if you will, of colder air that is starting to build up across Canada. That will allow source regions for storm systems to tap into and bring some of that colder air down as we head into the new year. So we're going to keep a very close eye on that. But if you wanted a white Christmas, it's only about a 10% chance, folks. We'll give you a shot for flurries on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. After Christmas, though, things do look to turn just a little bit more active. We'll have a storm system coming through. It looks to bring rain right now, but the models aren't in complete agreement on whether or not that will be rain or snow, so it could be a mix of both. Tonight, 32 degrees, will be partly cloudy. Tomorrow, 42 degrees, with the cloud cover working to keep things just a little bit cooler for us here in Madison. We'll have more chances for rain and snow, especially as we get beyond Christmas, especially with temperatures staying in the 30s for those highs. A cold front will come through next Friday that could bring us a chance of snow. But honestly, it does not seem all too wintry for this time of the year going through the next 7 to 10 days.
My youngest is begging for snow.
Me too. A viewer sent me a dance today. It was called the Hikey Luna. It's something from northern Michigan, but it's the god of snow apparently.
It's a snow dance?
It's a snow dance. It was actually really catchy. An interesting story behind that. So
Oh,
I might
think we're
do
gonna-
that while we're
I'll join
away.
you on
All right,
that.
see if
I'll
we
join
can get
you
some
too.
snow around here.
All right, thanks, Chris.
Anytime.
Well, video games are on many holiday wish lists this year.
Are your boys video gamers?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, I think all boys, especially young boys, certainly are. Hillary Lane takes a look at some of the games and devices that kids young and old are hoping for.
Oh, that's why.
Like many kids, 8-year-old Jack, 5-year-old Matthew, and 3-year-old Claire love video games.
If you could play video games all the time, would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, morning and night?
Their mom, Catherine Duffy, says her sons have video games at the top of their list to Santa.
Our kids do love video games. We try to monitor their video game playing because they would want to play all the time.
There's a video game pretty much for everyone who's a gamer in your family.
Ben Howard from GameSpot says that includes Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's extremely popular and features characters from several older games, including Mario, Zelda, Pac-Man, and Donkey Kong. Many young gamers are also clamoring for the new Pokemon Let's Go. Both games can be played on the handheld Nintendo Switch.
The Switch has really been a massive runaway success, so it's definitely the hot item.
And the hottest video game right now is Fortnite. But it presents a challenge for holiday shoppers because the basic version is free. Those wanting to get something for their Fortnite fan can buy a gift card for their console of choice, like for an Xbox or PlayStation. Gamers can use the gift cards to get outfits called skins, weapons, or dance moves for their Fortnite characters, or to buy other games.
At least half of game sales on consoles now are made as digital purchases.
The Duffy kids want the latest Mario Kart game for Christmas, among others. Their parents say they'll have to wait to see what Santa brings. Hillary Lane for WISC News 3.
Did you get some ideas? Benicio likes Fortnite, right?
Yes.
That's what all the kids are playing.
Yeah, and I would like that to go away.
Not anytime
I want Santa
soon.
to take it with him.
Are you ready to make your home smarter and safer?
Consumer Reports experts offer tips on where to start when Live at 4 continues.
Wow, look at that shot. Are we sure that's downtown?
Yes, it is.
That's a beautiful picture of the sun setting on this Tuesday afternoon. Gorgeous.
Smart doorbells, smart locks, smart thermostats, smart security cameras. Need an education on how to smarten up your home?
Leah Lynchide and Consumer Reports experts offer a crash course in how to buy and connect high-tech devices.
Alexa, turn off the lights.
Consumer Reports' Dan Roxlocky doesn't just write about smart home products, he uses them in his home, too. His one must-have smart device, a smart speaker.
Alexa, lock the front door. Smart speakers make it very easy to connect all these different products.
Okay. To use a smart speaker as a hub or control center of sorts, you'll find three main options: Amazon's Alexa, Google Assistant, and Apple's Siri, available on the Apple HomePod. For those other smart products, CR puts them through rigorous testing. For example, smart locks still have to pass the same break-in tests as traditional locks.
You want to get a lock that is smart, but also strong.
This recommended $230 Schlage Sense smart lock stood up to kick-in, picking, and drilling tests and connects with any of the three smart speaker assistants. Another option for your doors, video doorbells.
Hi, Dan. Can you let me in?
You can see who is at your door, and some models even work with smart locks to remotely open the door through an app. Need even more smarts? You might want to add smart cameras, inside and out. They can record a break-in, or this little guy breaking the rules when Dan isn't home. One thing to keep in mind, you'll need to pay a fee for video storage for most smart security cameras, which can be as much as $200 a year.
What that means is when these cameras take video, they store it on their company's server. By doing this, it makes it really easy for you to access that footage, but it can also cost you over the long term.
The $120 Amazon Cloud Cam is a CR Best Buy, and if you want surveillance both inside and outside your home, consider the Netgear Arlo Pro 2 smart camera for about $220. For WISC News 3, this is Leah Lynchide.
Now, one smart home product Consumer Reports says could be smarter are smoke detectors. That's because the smart smoke detectors currently available only detect one type of fire.
Consumer Reports recommends the dual sensor smoke alarms, which can detect both smoldering and flash fires. Consider the First Alert or Kidda dual sensor smoke alarms for $30. Both earned the top ratings in Consumer Reports test.
Some pretty cool technology. Yeah.
When we come back, we are taking your questions for Lisa Briggs.
The number to call if you have a question for Lisa is 270-9933. There she is. She's standing by at the Bruce Company. Hi, Lisa.
Hi there. How are you guys?
We're great. We're waiting for some calls to come in, and right after the break, we'll get right back to you. So stand by.
Okay. I'll be here.
Tuesday evening now, a lot of us heading home, getting ready to hit the Beltline, and we are certainly starting to see those backups. This is at Park Street right now, looking south, but you've got backups right at Park Street, pretty much in both directions, but the heaviest traffic anywhere from about Whitney Way all the way towards about Monona Drive, or just before Monona Drive, rather, downtown. Anywhere traffic moving from about 20 miles per hour upwards towards 35 miles per hour. So anywhere from about 30 to 20 miles per hour below posted speeds. We come closer downtown. Park Street outbound from the university is certainly seeing some slowdowns as well, longest coming towards Olin Drive on John Nolan. Zooming out, outside of Madison, the interstates are in decent shape. Janesville, for the most part, in decent shape as well, but we're starting to see some slowdowns for our friends in Rock County as well. Guys?
All right, thank you very much, Chris. We are taking your calls right now for Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company.
The number to call if you have a question, we have 3 lines open, is 270-9933. And Lisa joins us live from the Bruce Company in Middleton. You're looking great in your Santa hat. Hi, Lisa.
Thank you. Hello.
Ready to take some calls?
I am ready.
Okay. All right. Let's start with Donna in Necedah. Hi, Donna. What's your question for Lisa?
Hi, ladies. I have a Meyer lemon, and since bringing it in, it's quite langly and it's lost all its leaves. When can I prune it back, and how far?
Okay, so was it outside for the summer, Donna?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so it's a light issue. So a lot of times when you bring houseplants that have been outside into your home when it gets cool, they're going to lose a lot of foliage. So put it in the brightest window that you can, let it dry between watering so that it doesn't get overwatered, because if it's not growing, it's not using a lot of water. And then when you start to see those buds start to pop along where it dropped leaves, then you can go ahead and kind of give it a nice shape and then get it back outside in the spring.
All right. Great, thank you for calling today. Just the thought of Meyer lemons makes you feel better, doesn't it?
I love that. Yeah.
All right, and now we have Mark from Madison. Hi, Mark, what's your question?
My question may be fairly similar. We brought in some geraniums that had been outside, and we're trying to overwinter them. What should I be doing?
Are you overwintering them in your pots, or are you doing the sort of letting them go dormant kind of thing in a paper bag?
We've got them in pots.
Okay, so again, they're going to need a ton of light. Let them dry between waterings, and then if they start to get leggy, do some pinching and get them shaped up. All houseplants that come in the fall, there's not nearly as much light in your home as you think there is.
Yeah, especially this time of the year. All right, Mark, thank you for calling today. Let's go to Francis in Middleton. Hi, Francis, what's your question? Oh, Francis, can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Go ahead.
My question is, I have a hydrangea plant that's outside. It's approximately 10 years old. What is the best season or time of the year to prune it?
So Francis, does it have like the round-headed flowers, or does it have the ones that are cone-shaped?
Large, round-headed flowers.
Okay. So what you should do is wait, leave it alone. You can cut back the dead flowers if you don't want to look at that for the winter, but save any major pruning till the spring. You'll start to see those new buds will pop, and then you'll know what stems have died back, and then you can cut those back. But wait until spring.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, and now we have Judy from Verona. Hi, Judy, what's your question for Lisa?
Judy, are you there?
Oh, I don't think she's there.
Oh, I think we lost Judy. Okay, let's see. Let's see who is on line 1. Hi, caller, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, go ahead with your question. Is this Jeff?
Yeah.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead.
I bought a poinsettia about end of November.
Okay.
And I kept it alive. It's still alive now. Will it never turn red again?
The whole bract coloring thing is triggered by day length. And so when you have a poinsettia or any plant that does that kind of thing inside with artificial light, then it is not going to do the color changing thing. So if you go online, there's a whole thing where you can put a box over it at night, or put it in a closet, or keep it in a room, like a spare bedroom that you don't use at night, and then that would trigger the coloring.
Well, how soon will it do that?
It just, you have to follow, so the days have to get shorter, and if it's in, say, your living room or a dining room where you have lights on, it's just not ever going to turn red until you start that day-length shrinking process.
Okay.
How much light should it take?
How much light should it take?
It's a length of day, not how it should. Poinsettias like bright light and warm temperatures, but to trigger the coloring, it needs to be a certain length of light. So, you know, so it goes from like 12 hours of light and 12 hours of dark to maybe 10 hours of light and 14 hours of dark. So you have to play with it, and it's a gradual process.
Got it.
All right,
it's difficult to do in a house.
Thank you, Jeff. All right, and then we have our next caller, Levine from Madison. Hi, what's your question?
Okay, I have a Christmas cactus that I had for several years, and it bloomed a little bit last year, but it hasn't bloomed since. And I was told about giving it some plant food would help. The higher the middle number is, the better off it is.
You can certainly use like a bloom boosting fertilizer, but again, it's the same thing as the poinsettia. It's a day length trigger. So if you have it in a room where it's getting light, you know, 16, 17 hours a day, it's not going to develop flower buds. And you might be past the point, if it's a true Christmas cactus, to trigger it. So you'll want to try again next year and just enjoy it for what it's doing right now.
All right, Levine, thank you for calling today. Boy, these holiday plants, Lisa, they're beautiful, but they're high maintenance, aren't they?
Some of them are a little bit tricky, yes.
Well, thanks for your calls, everybody. We're out of time. Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa.
Happy holidays to you guys next year.
To you and Harvey as well, hon. We'll see you soon.
Okay.
Thanks so much, and we'll be right back.
Well, so much for winter for today.
That's right. It certainly felt more like March or April, and we are going to continue to see those warmer temperatures into tomorrow. Overnight tonight, we will drop to 32. Take that. How about that? And then tomorrow, we'll see those highs right around 42. Some additional cloud cover with showers to the west of Madison in the afternoon.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
Anytime.
We'll be right back.